Yeah, so it's August 5th, 2012, and you're watching Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games.
Yeah.
I think you'd be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard. Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty.
I could hear you groaning
Oh, yeah.
inwardly every time Sin's mentioned, you just cringing.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 342 of Mods on Air, bringing you the week in gaming news as modders, developers, and gamers. I am foyleman, and also on the show today we have with us Welshy. How you doing today, Welshy?
Hello. It's hot.
Hello. It's hot. Yes, and you're
Damn hot. Hotter than a snake's ass in a wagon rut.
is that a can that I see?
That's 2 massive ice cubes I put in there, and they literally melted within seconds. That's so hot, isn't it?
And a little vodka, of course. And also we have with us today
Yeah,
is
Irish.
Stryder. How you doing today, Stryder?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, and Breezy. Hey, how you doing, Breezy?
Hello.
Hey, all right. So before we begin, let me remind all of you that the show is recorded before a live audience, of which you may be a part. You can listen in and message about the topics as we discuss them. And for the topics we discuss, someone will post the relevant URLs into the chat window. And for the other links that are posted there, they will bring you to damnation. Finally, for those of you who haven't heard the show before, there may be some explicit language, adult themes, or very rude videos showing up on the side of the Stick'em window. We can't control that. Okay.
Don't click on damnation. Don't click on any links that we don't post or you will lose your mortal soul. Damnation and hellfire.
Well, you know, that's actually fitting with what's going on. QuakeCon's going on this past week. We have Ham over there. I don't know if he's going to get in touch with us or not. I wonder if that was him. Nah, I don't think it was him. I was calling me a
I
moment
wonder if that
ago.
was him calling me. No, I don't want to talk to you.
He's actually in Texas right now doing the whole QuakeCon thing, and he wrote a great article. If you want to head over to MODSonline.com and take a look at what he wrote up, we're going to be doing a little bit of talking of what's going on there. But, you know, the reason why I'm talking about Damnation and Quake, you know, hey, Doom 3 in hell, right? They redid the whole Doom 3 thing, so that you can play it over again with a little extra added content. You know, I have a little bit of a problem with that, and I think you guys do too. I totally respect id Software, but to give us a game that was put out, when was that? 2003?
8 years ago.
8 years ago. To give us a redo, I don't know what they did. They made it a little more 3D, which, what kind of big deal is that? How many games out there are suddenly all magically 3D? Because, hey, they're built in a 3D environment. Why not just make... It's a little frustrating, you know, to see that that's what they've been working on for this time. They haven't been working on improvements to Rage, really. They haven't been working on where's the next Doom or the next engine. What happened to the mod tools, id?
Did anyone watch his keynote? Carmack. His keynote
I didn't.
speech.
Yeah, I did have an extra 3.5 hours. But
I didn't watch all of it, no. But just like on a side note, at the start there, he actually apologized for the state of Rage on the PC.
Yeah.
Good.
Because
talk
even he
about that
knows
later.
it sucks, yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that later, according to Stryder. So, let's get into some of the other topics that we have to talk about here, and I'm going to jump right in with some hardware stuff. Oculus. Did you guys see the release of Oculus on Kickstarter? Come on, I saw that about an hour, maybe less, that it came out. Instantly, people were jumping all over that thing to purchase it, and I see why. I see what's going on here. I think, yes, it's another gimmick, but I also think it's a gimmick that has great potential for taking off and doing something. So, yeah, you know what? I gave him some money. I watched that thing go like up $1,000 every few minutes. It is up to almost $3 million now. A goal of $250,000.
Yeah, they wanted 250. They got 1.3 million in promised donations or whatever.
Right.
So there's a lot of support for it.
Well, yeah. Not just people out there giving them money. We're talking about big developers that went through this thing. This is one of probably the best Kickstarter videos that I ever saw put together because it really seems like it has a strong backing from developers. They go out there and they talk to id. John Carmack's on here because he was one of the first people to play with it and start talking about it. And I'll bet you anything that it's over there in this past week. We also have Gabe Newell, somebody else from Valve. We have Cliff from Epic. We have all kinds of developers in here saying this thing's pretty cool. Now what is it? Okay, you go out there and you see these kind of glasses that you can watch TV on. The problem with that is that you're sitting here watching this little thing with these little TVs that actually make it look like you're sitting back in the back row of this big screen TV kind of thing. It doesn't have a lot of resolution. It's probably a 640 by 320 or something crazy, awful like that. I can't remember who was making it, Vizio, something with a V or something like that. Anyway, this thing takes high resolution video and puts it into the screen right there, right into the goggles. You know you can't see through them, but you know you're not supposed to. It's supposed to really block out everything. But it also gives you a full, I think, 120 degrees of visual. And when you turn your head, it turns the video with you. I mean, it's the idea that you can play this 3D game, be completely immersed in the gameplay, and have it on a high-resolution screen that's burning your retinas. But, you know, those are some of the payoffs to that kind of thing. Wow, that video just sounds like crap. Okay, so that's what you're getting with this Oculus thing, and I think it's a pretty cool idea. I threw in enough money so that I can get myself one of the developer kits, so I can see what it's about to actually try and develop with this thing. Now, what it's going to come with right off the bat is it's going to come with Doom 3 BFG. Now, that's the thing that's going on over at QuakeCon right now, where they're showing the new revised Doom 3, and you'll be able to play and have a full developer center SDK stuff, I don't know, that goes along with it. Some documents, some samples, some engine integrations. Yeah, we're talking about video game engine integrations for Unreal, id Software, and I think some other engines as well. And so you're going to get this nice piece of hardware with the ability to start developing for it right now.
Yeah. Ham's comments yesterday, unfortunately Ham isn't with us right now, but Ham's comments yesterday are he has seen the future of FPS gaming, and it is the Oculus Rift. He met with Palmer, the inventor of the VR prototype, and talked with him about the technology, and said that within the next year or two, it's certainly possible that most of us will be using the Oculus Rift for our gaming. He says technically it's still a gimmick, but once it becomes standard, it's no longer going to be a gimmick. He also said it's light and comfortable to wear. That's Ham's.
My thing about it is, which is I said in that exact conversation, is I still don't like having things on my face.
I understand that.
You're not going to like head crabs then.
Well, I don't wear glasses, so having glasses on feels weird to me. Does it not bug you though? Having like goggles on your head?
I don't know. I never actually have. I can wear sunglasses. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah, see, wearing sunglasses bothers me.
How does it feel when you got a headset
Sunlight
on as well?
bothers you.
Sunlight, yeah. Sunlight does bother me, but you seen how hot it is out there?
Have I seen how hot it is?
Yeah.
People are on fire.
I don't know. It still seems very kind of gimmicky to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely it is gimmicky. It's like the Wii U. It's like Wii, you know? It's just some sort of gimmicky thing that you can just fool around with. I like the idea of trying to be a little bit more immersed into the game, and I'm curious to see what happens and how it works. And I think it has the potential to take off, not just because it's this gimmicky thing, but because we have these developers that are running behind it. 3D TV, 3D games, they took off. I still think it's a gimmick. I think it's silly. I don't see the reason to throw $1,000 into the PC just so I can play games in 3D. But it still kind of took off, so I think it has a potential to do something.
From my
And for that
house, if
reason-
you can't see other things, like when I'm playing, I've got drinks and stuff that I like to, munch on.
Yeah.
There you
If
go.
I've got that on my face, how many of them am I going to knock over in a night?
Last year.
You need to get the one with the little beer cans that sit beside your head with a straw.
I have to.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. That's a really,
If you've
really
got a
good
headset
point,
that's
though.
anything like mine, you can't hear anything other than the game anyway.
Right.
So like your house is going to be burning down and you're just not going to notice.
Ooh, yeah.
But you've got that band holding this monster on your face, and you've got a set of headphones on top of that.
That's why. Well, that's why I asked Sam. Is it at least comfortable to wear? Because I can imagine that being like wearing, ski goggles, where it's really tight.
Yep. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know. I'll wear them here on the show.
So we're gonna assume that we're gonna get a video of you like this. Yeah, welcome to the show. Because you don't realise that you're facing the wrong way.
Yeah, I know. I think the audio's getting worse still. All right. Is it still bad, the audio right now?
Yeah.
Crap. All right. Now it's good.
So what's interesting if you look at the Kickstarter, everybody is interested in developing this, because if you pledge $300 or more, but less than $335, you get the early Rift developer kit plus the Doom blah blah blah. But there's over 3,000 backers doing that.
Yep. Yeah, I'm one of them.
Now, see, that's interesting because right down by that the pledge is on the right there with the $300. There's a picture of a guy wearing both the headset and the goggles, and the goggles strap goes through where his headset would normally sit on his head. The phone.
Yep.
What they're going to end up doing is they're probably going to end up integrate that visual block in front of your face with a set of headsets and a mic. So it's going to be one thing that you sit on and you slide the Oculus down. However, it looks like you require, in order for this to work, it's looking like it has to be in a controlled environment, dark room essentially in front of your eyes. So you've got to have that thing sucked tight against your face. It'll be, pull it down and suck it back in, and I don't know.
I don't know. It's a funny picture in my mind now. This thing sucking on your face. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It just makes you think scuba gear, like that you have to put the snorkel on.
Essentially, yeah.
Or a gas mask, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, we'll see if that's
There'll
any better.
be an Oculus bus driving around, and maybe they'll be giving these out at PAX.
Oh, jeez. Right.
I doubt it.
People walking into things.
Bonk.
Yeah, I don't know how much. Does anyone know?
But
how
that
much
said,
it costs?
this may be something that we will get to see at PAX.
How much what's cost?
This, like, if you're buying it as just a regular.
I'm going to assume it's going to be $300 because that's what they want for the developer kit, which is pretty much. Here it is unfinished.
$275 gets you an unassembled prototype kit and the game Doom 3 BFG. So you'll get the Oculus Rift that you have to put together. Yeah,
Completely solder and all.
that's what it says. Actually, it says it's sold out.
Oh, it does say sold out now. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Going on with the gimmicky kind of things, Mass Effect 3 is confirmed to be on the Wii U as a launch title. In case you were just dying for that.
Now
They're
you
trying to
can watch the ending on the Wii.
Trying to generate some interest in the Wii U.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Some more crap for you. Okay, Assassins. No, we're talking about Xbox 720, aren't we? That's not it.
Yes, we've only gone through the third topic now, my friend. The third of
topic.
many.
It's because I don't have to go to work until 1 o'clock, isn't it?
Yes.
The Xbox 720 dev kit was supposedly leaked. It's for some reason they subnamed it after a truck from Dodge called the Durango, and yeah. So they're talking about what this video game thing, what this video game console is trying to offer. If I can only click on the right link instead of the wrong link, I could tell you more about it. Okay. So the kit was at one point for sale on, what was that, eBay or something like that for 10 grand, and they were trying to figure out what it was, and people are saying that they can't prove that it's an actual developer kit for the Xbox 720 or Infinity or whatever the hell you want to call it. I think Infinity makes sense with the 8 sideways. And then they're just saying it's just some low-end PC that, but of course it is a low-end PC. That's what the Xbox has always been. Don't be surprised. A low-end PC that runs on 64-bit. Maybe even is Linux-based. I don't know.
No, it'll be DirectX based.
Yeah, it will be, of course. DirectX 11.
It's Microsoft. It's Microsoft. No, it'll probably be DX9.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter what this thing is and whether or not it's out there and if somebody else buys it. The PC you have right now that you're watching this show on, it's better than whatever they're talking about here, so you're sitting pretty.
Even if you're watching this on an EEE PC, it's better than an Xbox 720.
Makes a better paperweight. Anyway.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get as hot.
No. Then again, neither does the sun.
Well, she's got big sun issues today. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a real hatred for the sun today.
Yes.
I really do. It's like
He's
20
turned
degrees
into-
and it's 9 in the morning. That's just wrong.
He's turned into a vampire. Hello?
Work
Oh,
time. Okay.
No.
So moving on with some other stuff, we have Sony. Sony is well, actually, a lot of companies have put out their financial quarterlies to let you know whether or not they're making, or in this case, losing lots and lots of money. Where Sony's out there saying, "Oh, we lost 45 million." You know what this means? Nothing. It just means they're throwing them a lot of money into something, and they expect it back later.
No.
And that's gonna happen.
I've read in a lot of these. Oh, we lost money. We posted a loss. Banks up here always say they've posted a loss. They haven't lost money. They've lost profits. They projected they were going to earn 380 million, and they actually only earned 335 million. They didn't lose 45 million. They just didn't realize the potential that they wanted to.
And also,
Yeah.
don't they lose like $200 per PS3?
Uh,
I
don't
think so,
know.
yeah.
I mean,
It's,
that's been the
it's still
story.
costing them money to make PlayStations.
it could
especially
be.
when no one's buying them.
I wouldn't
yeah,
know. I'm
do.
not going to buy it. Because after I buy it, the price will drop $300.
You just got to take one for the team there.
No, I'm not doing it that anymore.
Yeah. So, but don't worry. Sony will still be there tomorrow, if that's a big concern for you. And gamer,
Yeah.
why are you bringing up the Samsung televisions as being less expensive? I'm just curious as to the relation there.
Than a Sony TV.
No one's buying Sony
Oh.
anymore.
Yeah, for the last few years, it's just been Samsung for me when it comes to TVs. Absolutely. I mean, they got the great smart TV integration with the applications, which soon will be handling some a lot more applications such as games. And I don't know what Sony's doing to combat that. Anything?
They're ignoring the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy trying
Apart
to
from when
fight off
they
hackers.
give out credit. Yes, apart from when they're giving out credit card details.
Right. All right, let's talk a little bit about some game mods, such as this Sega Genesis mod that takes a game, Sonic, Mega Bomberman, or some other games actually it'll work with, and hooks up an electric collar. to
Electric
it.
shock dog collar.
I'm gonna try and play this, and hopefully it doesn't crash all the audio. But I don't, I gotta wonder what's the inspiration behind this.
Oh,
Humor.
I know what the inspiration is. There are several websites dedicated to said thing.
Oh, it's multiplayer. They both have shock collars.
Oh yeah.
Now this looks like a lot of fun on a Saturday night.
No, it doesn't.
Two guys in a hotel room shocking each other. I don't know.
Isn't that how everyone spends their Saturday night? Just me then. Never mind.
So they've taken the vibration out of the controller and put it to electric shock onto your neck.
hmm And they anticipate it. You can see them grabbing the collar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great.
I just wonder what the hotel staff are thinking they're doing in there.
Yeah. Two guys checking in with a video camera and a couple game controllers.
On some electrical equipment.
It's, can we have a room away from other people? We're going to be making some noise.
Yeah, no side effects like nervous twitches.
No. For the next 3 days, they'd be grabbing their necks. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to something else, we have some more stuff from UniEngine. This is a game engine that we've mentioned in the past. A game engine that looks beautiful and never comes out for release, right? Isn't that this engine? The one that's never released, but always has like video of some special stuff?
I don't know. I thought we had.
Is this one that keeps disappearing and then
I think so.
pops up? Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but you know what? Here's a pretty engine that you'll never use or see. It looks a lot like Crysis. It's obviously not the same, because when they start showing these indoor environments, you can see that the lighting is not at all the same. But
There's a naval strategy game that uses the Unigine called Oil Rush.
and has that ever been released?
Yeah, it's released. You can buy it for $20.
Wow.
No, I don't think this is the same one we're thinking of.
Okay.
Because that one was like unlimited detail, but they were doing
Yeah.
kind of like atoms rather than.
Okay.
You
Yes.
can request
yes.
a Unigine evaluation kit now for free.
Ooh. I wonder if it can't be that expensive if somebody made a game and sold it for $20, right?
Well,
Although I wonder how much documentation and community support there is. Very important thing when it comes to modding and making games. You need to be able to go online and say, how the hell do you do this? And get an answer.
Unigine SDK is available on a per case basis. An average deal is about $30,000 per project.
Jesus.
Ouch. Okay, so if you've got a lot of daddy's money there you want to throw around and lose,
Yeah.
this one's for you.
What was the state that you can do that in?
Come into Rhode Island.
Move to Rhode Island.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. There's another mod out there that's in actually beta 3 status. Apparently there is more than one kind of beta status. This is called World Enhancement, and it is out now for Grand Theft Auto 4 San Andreas, and it aims to take I don't know. I think it's trying to just make things look a little more pretty, isn't it? I don't know what else it's trying to do here. Use the Rage engine, and currently they're targeting GTA 4. So is this a rebuild of the game in a different engine?
It's a rebuild of the game in that other engine that they used.
The Rage engine, which I don't know the Rage engine. Rockstar Advanced Game Engine.
Well,
Wait,
apparently there was only one game which was put out on that engine.
Yeah, GTA 4, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, last week, Gamer, we talked about the San Andreas mod for Grand Theft Auto 4.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Maybe it is.
Or is this different?
It looks different, actually, because the one we talked about last week didn't lead to this website.
It says a GTA 4 San Andreas Beta 3 World Announcement. GTA 4 San Andreas is a telco version mod for Grand Theft Auto 4 to bring back the good old San Andreas map to GTA 4 using the powerful Rage engine.
Yep. Okay. Okay. The other one is a Crysis mod. We have a Crysis mod here that has called Crysis. It's called Escape Paradise Released, and this is going to be, yes, a lot of palm trees, a lot of things shining in the sky, shooting down planes, or I don't know. You know what? I went to the site and took a look at some of these not the videos actually. I took a look at some of the screenshots, and I thought to myself, is this just like a remake of Lost? You know, with the plane going overhead and then blowing up, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, but what was happening in the screenshots, they're saying it was an F-35 that was shot down, so it's not exactly the same thing.
Because you just shoot an F-35 down. That happens all the time.
Sure. Well,
With a pistol.
how often are you?
Yeah, one shot from a pistol.
This is not Battlefield 3 here.
That's with the knife.
Yeah.
With the sniper rifle. All right, who the fuck is calling?
Oh yeah, sniper rifle. You know, there's a. All right, that's too much of a sidetrack, I guess. I was going to mention the new DARPA project that they're coming up with a sniper rifle that uses lasers to determine wind velocities and all that kind of stuff for you. So and they're calling the project One Shot.
But they already have that, just in a separate device.
Yeah, they have that, except they say it uses up too much battery and there's a few, and it overheats apparently and stuff like that. And they hired somebody to make a bigger, better version. Okay. Anyway, that's too much of a sidetrack. Going on to QuakeCon is next. No, Skyrim mod. There's a Skyrim mod out there that's supposed to, well, not just a mod. There's supposed to be this whole website. Isn't this a whole website just for Skyrim mods? A Skyrim Nexus, and the guy goes on here with, he has, I guess you could call him podcasts because he goes on and talks about all these different mods. And there's enough
this
mods
site,
that he does it weekly.
Yeah, isn't this site partnered with Steam?
But it must be, because all the mods are hosted on Steam, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, of course they are.
And if you go to Steam, then try and install something, it redirects you to links from this site.
Oh, well, you know, maybe they are partnered, but yes, I thought you had to go through Steam to get mods for this game,
I think
whether you liked it or not.
No, you don't.
And so I thought this maybe was just a website that had the biggest collection. So it just seemed that way. All right.
That's an offshoot. That's a good system. I found out a few mods do that Steam system. Works pretty well.
Yeah. But you can head over to the site and take a look at some of the reviews of different mods if you're interested. Of course, if you watch enough of them, I think they're all going to start to mesh together and look like the same thing. But it's expected. Some of them might stand out here and there. I've been done with Skyrim for a while, just waiting for something else. You know what it is? It's this really, really big, involved game, and I can't play that more than once without feeling like my entire life is lost.
I jump back on it now and again, but
I tried to get back into it and just couldn't. Because I was like, 2/3 of the way through, and it was just like, I don't remember what I was doing.
Did they ever come up with a multiplayer mod? I don't think they did, or co-op, I should call it. That I might consider. I could consider doing something like that, playing Skyrim in co-op mode. I don't know. Okay. QuakeCon is going on, and Ham is down there. I did actually get a message from him just a moment ago. He says the networks were down and he wasn't able to get online, but he's going to be posting more articles and interviews soon. So you're going to want to watch over to the MODSonline website, and you can hear what Ham has to say, because he's been doing all the press stuff behind doors and having a good time at it. And the last article that I wrote was really very good, so it's a good read. And we're not surprised. As Stryder will point out, when we go to PAX, we try and get online, and everything's dead. You can't get online. So I don't know if the cell phones work, I'll be able to get online. I don't know if they're even going to work though, because I already went to the phone store, to the store, the AT&T, and I said, listen, I'm going to be gone in Seattle these weeks. Would you make sure that I have internet access through my phone? And I set it up apparently. So I don't know.
Unlimited internet access. You can broadcast as a MODSon hotspot.
That just sounds wrong.
MODSon hotspot, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, there was a lot. Tell me about QuakeCon.
Yeah, I don't know about QuakeCon. Ham knows everything about QuakeCon. He's been talking to us every now and then, saying about how awesome it is. Yep, how awesome it is, and that one keynote that was like, he said he was there for 4 hours. I mean, you go online, it was 3.5 hours, but don't forget the time sitting and waiting and then trying to get out and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we're talking about 3.5, 4 hours sitting there in a room listening to Carmack go on and on and on and talk about whatever kind of stuff. Now, I like some of the stuff he has to say, but if you go online and look at any of his keynotes, you really gotta get that hole in the you really got to sit down for a while and listen to it, and it's a bit much. Um, you can take a listen to it, and it is available on YouTube if you want to see what the address was about. And there are some articles online giving you little ideas here and there where he does talk about how he wants to, as Stryder was pointing out earlier, how he's sorry for what happened to Rage and how it was kind of how it fell apart pretty much for the PC users. Did we ever get tools to work to mod tools that were said to be coming out? No. And he talks about. I think he talked about what their future plans were, didn't he? But I don't remember hearing much about the future. He talks about stuff that he's already doing, like the Doom 3 thing, where it's just a remake of Doom, and that's what he's been doing for the last 8 years or something. I don't know.
Right. He talks about Doom 4, but he didn't say much about it other than it's in development. And he said that they were going to develop, Rage 2, but their resources only allowed them to develop one game at a time. So they're looking at developing, only one title at a time. So that's why we're not seeing anything on Rage 2. But, unfortunately, they haven't. To reiterate what you said, given us the tools that they were promised out of the box. Honestly, that's why I bought that.
Yeah, that's why I bought the game.
Yeah, me too.
So very disappointed on that aspect. But what could we expect? That's Bethesda. It's not it any longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you watch that video, you can kind of tell that he's annoyed at how shit it is. As well, he's kind of like, it wasn't what it was supposed to be. We didn't. And, he's one of the very few people that if he comes out... Yeah, he's one of the very few people that comes out and says that. I kind of believe him.
Yep. All right.
Talks about next-gen consoles in his keynote as well.
What's there to say, other than they're coming and they're working for him?
Yeah.
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 You know what? We're gonna pick Ham's brain when he comes here. He'll be on the show next week, and we'll talk to him and find out a lot more details. You know Ham; he really gets into it and tells us what's what.
On a side note, he's actually in
He
that
tells
video.
Carmack what's what.
So Ham's in the video.
Yeah, like right at the end, they have people getting up to ask, walk down to the microphone or whatever to ask questions, and it's literally he is the next. They talk to one guy and he's like, "Okay, I think we're it's done for
No more
today." And
questions,
Ham is
yeah.
literally the next guy in line. You see him pass through the back as he walks along.
Yeah, he didn't get to ask his question. Oh well.
No.
Okay.
Some guy asked 4 questions in one go.
Oh, how rude.
Mm.
No wonder he wanted to leave after 4 hours of that. Okay. Another topic here. We can talk a little bit about Rise of the Triad. I actually don't know much about this game. That was shown over at QuakeCon, right? I think that's part of why it's in this area. But if you look at some of the video, I wasn't sure why. Is this some sort of old game or something being redone, or did I look at the wrong video?
No, it's an older game being redone, but it was fun to play. But now they're gonna upgrade it all. It looks what I watched, it looked pretty interesting. It looked fun. I know it had a big following. When it was originally put out.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember when it was original. I don't remember it. What was it originally put out on PC or something else? Probably PC. Actually, I don't see any information as far as when it was originally put out. But they're doing the normal push on all the social websites, such as Twitter and Facebook, and like us or hate us. And...
Released in '95.
That's a little old. Right, I'm trying to restart some audio pieces. No, it didn't work. Okay, so anybody wants to donate a high-end PC, please do. All right, so
If you've got
So
a
this-
spare one, just knock it out.
so Rise of the Triad is supposed to be coming to PC via Steam, and it's actually supposed to happen soon, isn't it? Later this year.
Third quarter, I think. And it's a co-op game.
Oh, is it? Because I know
So
it's single player and multiplayer, but I didn't
yeah,
notice anything about co-op in there. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
How many
So
player
10,
co-op?
10 to 1, 4, which is stupid because it's a triad, so it should be 3, but
And it's built
whatever.
on the Unreal Engine 3. But hey, so was Killing Floor. It doesn't mean it has to be shiny and annoying.
No, Killing Floor was Unreal 2.
Oh, all right, my mistake.
I
Yeah,
know
well,
this
that's the
because I
same.
tried out the mod tools and got very confused.
Oh yeah, it's confusing. Anybody who tries to take a step backwards in the world of subtractive environments, and it's confusing.
Mm.
Yes, here's a ball of clay. Now cut out what you don't want. Go.
Yeah,
Car-
it's
carve
very
away
much like
everything
you
that
have to.
doesn't look like what you want.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much like you have to know exactly to like the millimeter what you want to build.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like one building, I mean the entire map. You have to know exactly what you want.
Yeah, and it seems like the opposite, even compared to modeling programs. Modeling programs are out there. You put things together. You don't take things apart to make what you need. So I'm not even sure how those exports worked. If you ever, there were no exports, were there, for environments? Probably. It was like put a building in, put a car in, put a player in, but don't necessarily build this whole crazy level in a 3D modeling program and try to use that. No, 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 no. Which nowadays you can. Actually, that seems to be the way they're all headed. So kids, that's a lesson for you. Go out there and learn Maya.
Kids. So kids,
Yes, this game is the Chinese gang arises, or something like that, right? Is there any other text in there? No, I don't know. Okay, how about Star Wars, the Old Republic, going free to play finally after losing how many people in their subscriptions?
Yeah.
Everyone. There's one
Yeah.
person left on one of the servers.
I think unfortunately that they're doing this too late.
Yep.
And even though they've announced it, I think they're activating that model too late because they're talking about doing it in November. Well, with the release of Guild Wars 2 coming in
Yep.
end of August here,
Mm-hmm.
everybody that was playing Star Wars is going to go to Guild Wars, and now they've got to try and win back people. And I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't know. There are some things that could end up happening that causes that to happen. But yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. But now Star Wars, I could argue to say that Star Wars started wrong. It didn't just change too late. It started wrong because think of the people that went out there and spent $160 on the special box edition. And they did it because they were expecting all these additions to the game that never came. I know you're one of them that was hoping for these additions that was talked about but never actually arise. Never came in to play, right?
Yep, that's one thing. They charged too high of an amount. Step one, this game was too long in development. The quality of the game is fantastic. The voice acting, the complete animations of all conversations and everything
That is.
is fantastic on that in that regard. But they charged too much money for the game out of the box. Plus, they charged too much money for a monthly subscription fee. They were charging more than what you pay for a monthly subscription fee to WoW. And they figured they would, in my mind, I justified it by saying, you know what, they're going to give me more every month. It never happened. That giving
Right.
never materialized.
A lot of people felt that way, exactly.
It was totally geared towards PvP players. There was nothing added for a PvE player at all. And again, that's unfortunate. Now they've announced it's going free to play. They're reducing the cost of the game from $70 to $15. And
Really
when
makes you
that
feel
fails,
good about your purchase.
yeah. I told Breezy, I said, EA owes me some fucking money now. I'm a little bit more than choked about this. So they've got to come back. If they want to draw me back into this world, like I enjoyed my time playing Star Wars up to a point, but it got repetitive and it got boring because it was repetitive. It was like it's the same story on a different planet. Why is it everybody is stupid? It's the same as the arrow to the knee joke, where everything is an arrow to the knee. This one, it's like, yeah, I know you lost something. I either got to go find it or go kill someone because you're too incompetent. Blah blah blah. Like, it got annoying to that in that sense, and there wasn't enough candy, I guess, to keep me interested.
Another thing is they made it too easy to get to the end of the game. What I mean by that is people flew through that, and it's an MMO, so you always have people that stay up for like 3 days, but you could do it in like a week or whatever, and then it's like, well, because of the lack of content after that content that never get, there's nothing to do exactly, and it's just like, oh, and it's like, well, play player versus player, and it's like, well, I don't want to because it sucks.
And even that got old. I hardly played that, and I got bored of it after a couple of games. So just failed.
So the run is over. I don't know whether it's too little, too late for the Old Republic. I guess that remains to be seen. But they definitely didn't continue the development as they should have.
That and the money in that game was ridiculous.
Yes.
So like the marketplaces was just, it was like being in like 50s Germany. So you kind of enjoy wages in a wheelbarrow.
I would go back to the game, but only if they put some more stuff into it. I think I'll just wait, see what they do with it.
All right, we're back.
On a side thing, I played Alan Wake's American Nightmare, and it really was a nightmare because they made you play. It's one of those games where you explore everything and look at everything, and I did that. And then they do a time loop thing. No, not quite like that, but then they did a time loop thing where you play the exact same like hour of gameplay again. And not only did it once, they did it twice. And it just ruined the entire...
You sat there and did it twice.
Well, yeah, because I wanted to finish it. But it really annoyed me. Because the Alan Wake game was really good.
What would be cool is if you played through the first time and they recorded your every movement, and then you had to play as a member of the opposite team against yourself who played exactly like you just played.
That'd be cool.
I'm confused.
Well, no, it's like in racing games, we have like a ghost car, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, Guild Wars. So now let's head over to this, what you were sort of hinting towards before, how Guild Wars is going to start taking the crowd away from Star Wars: The Old Republic. But is it going to? I mean, we have a conversation out there coming from... Actually, I don't know who it's coming from. Is it coming from the developers or not? They're considering the idea of subscriptions. Right?
Well, no. He was saying that the time of subscription-based games, or that he was saying subscription fees don't work. Subscription-based games don't work. The one exception to that rule is World of Warcraft, and it's because there's so many Asians that play it. It keeps it sustained. Really, that's
in
a nutshell what he's saying. He goes on to state that you have to, as a developer, look at what you want to do and build everything around to it. Whether it's microtransactions, whether it's purchasing special goods, which I guess you could call a microtransactions, or a macro transaction, which would be paying for extra content. But he said the today's market, subscription fees don't work.
Mm-hmm. They don't, especially with all these games coming out free to play. You can't compete with that now.
Mm-hmm.
So don't join the masses and figure out how to make your game fit into the new model. And don't wait a couple years before trying Star Wars. Right. I think we're all pretty much slated for the Guild Wars game, right? Are we? Or you guys decided not to until later?
I don't know.
I'm gonna get it, but I haven't pre-ordered.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not pre-ordering anything. And
I don't think I
understand.
offered
Stupidly, having said that, I've pre-ordered Borderlands 2 now.
Yeah.
But
But you got to admit that Borderlands 1 is kind of fun. It has that Star Wars kind of feel without the subscription fee.
You know what's good about Borderlands is it's not making me run back and forth. I mean, it does to a certain extent,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you're progressing through the levels, blah 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 blah. So I'm okay with it so far.
The
We'll
thing that I
find
think is clever about it is the way they've done the artwork. Is it doesn't look old
Yes.
because of the way
good
they've
point.
done it. It just
Yeah. It can
I
have
like that.
fewer
Yeah, but
polygons,
it doesn't-
look a little boxier, but it's okay.
It doesn't take much to impress Breezy though. Like you hold up a sparkly ring and he's like, "My precious."
I still play Pokemon Yellow, so you know I can't say much.
That's a classic game right there.
Yeah. But that's a good reminder though. Those of you who are considering that Borderlands 2 game, install and play a little bit, at least a minute's worth of Borderlands 1, so that you can get your special unlock if you do get Borderlands 2.
Well, I
gotta-
never finished the first one, so that's the reason
I
I
haven't
installed it.
finished it yet. No.
But- And see, and I was
I
talking
finished
with
it.
my son about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got Borderlands on the Xbox a long time ago," and he played it, and he goes, "What do you think of the ending?" And I'm like, "Oh, is it another one of them?" And apparently, it's another one of them.
Yeah.
Where the ending leaves you thinking, "What the fuck was that?"
Well,
So
the thing with that type of game though, it's really not about the ending. It's like not, you know.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
This
it's
game, I don't think.
happy.
I don't know what's going on in the storyline with Borderlands. I just enjoy upgrading and killing.
It really
There's
isn't
a
one,
storyline?
It's just-
Yeah.
Just know you're supposed to be hunting for this vault, but all you do is just take
What is
on
the
bosses.
storyline you speak of?
Exactly.
I enjoy the monologues when I find people and she's talking about the fat one and as she was dying because she was getting strangled, I laughed because it was humorous to think I wouldn't have anybody else to talk to. What should I do with the body? I will throw it outside the gates. The raccoons will eat good tonight. Like, some of it's rather twisted and humorous.
Yeah.
Some of it's a
I'll
mess.
give it
that
that.
one
It's-
earlier was the best. Where he's going
Keep
on
that
about
asshole alive. What? So I can beat him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was the one that that wrecked his mama's girl parts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. Yeah. I don't know. They are interesting.
It's a good co-op game anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a great co-op game. It doesn't have to be this huge multiplayer experience. It can just be a great co-op game. Okay. There's a new Assassin's Creed 3 video out there. The Anvil Next trailer, I guess, is what's out there. Which I had.
It's talking about the engine, isn't it?
Is that what
'Cause
it's talking about?
yeah, they've gone right back, stripped it right back down, and rebuilt
yeah.
the entire. It looks pretty good, actually. To be fair.
Well, the game's supposed to be released on all the consoles and PC on October 31st, Halloween. Huh. And well, isn't it just the same engine, just upgraded from the previous Assassin's Creed?
They've literally gone right back down to and built it back up.
Okay, good for them.
Because a lot of people were bitching and oh no, because I think the producer of the previous games is not with the company anymore. So a lot of people were like, "Oh no, it's not gonna be as good." And then they announced that they were gonna just literally tear the whole thing down and rebuild it.
Well, we'll see what kind of bugs they show up.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They have an issue with
Like
bugs.
the first one.
Right, the first. I remember the reason why I was not interested in buying the first one, which I eventually played some of, but I wasn't interested in it because when I saw it at E3, it was seriously buggy. I mean, people were supposedly standing on the edge of buildings, but were actually standing in the middle of the air. And they're showing this off at E3, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy that.
What is interesting about this one is they've upped the number of NPCs available in a map at one time to something like 10,000 or something.
Do you think that's for optimization or because they expect things to be more powerful? Probably more powerful.
It probably more powerful, and the fact that that engine was starting to show its age a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean,
problem
the
with these games.
dynamic weather effects. They've put in something like 100,000 different character animations for just one guy. There's a bit where he's running through the snow, and the snow is moving out of his way as he's running through it, which is pretty cool.
Okay, sticking in there, Endorphin Machine here wants to know if we've seen the new open source 3D engines, and to be honest, I don't know of any new open source 3D engines, so I'd have to say no. Link us up, we'll take a look, we'll talk about it. Well, probably next week we'll talk about it, but we need a chance to take a look. But yeah, you know what, I'm definitely open to the idea of taking a look at some new 3D engines to see what they have. I like game engines. Okay, so there's a... I do, yeah.
Yeah, just the way you said that was weird, yeah. It's like, yeah.
I also
I
like
like
leather.
gummy bears, yeah.
Game engines.
See him there rubbing his palms on his thighs.
Okay, Medal of Honor Warfighter has a new video out there. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to kill any more audio issues or do whatever the hell is going to happen. But if you're interested in the next Medal of Honor, which you know what? I'm not. I'm done. I'm done with the Medal of Honor bullshit where they make me buy this game that I end up playing for 10 minutes and saying, why the hell did I buy this game? It's not a bad game, but it lasts for 10 minutes and then it's unsatisfying. Right? Isn't it Medal of Honor?
It's always Battlefield Light.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm
Yeah.
done with
That
Battlefield. I'm done
that
with
was the thing
Battlefield.
that
I'm
made-
tired of that shit show too.
Yeah, I don't want any more
So me and
Battlefield 3
Breezy
and that shit.
were at Eurogamer when we first saw it, the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Of this?
And it was kind of like we...
Multiplayer was terrible.
Yeah, the older game, yeah. The redo. And it's kind of just like... We couldn't quite believe that it was just like Battlefield without the destruction.
Yeah, and it's a rip-off. It's not even the same. You know, it's not going to be as good. And I think that's almost true of all of the Medal of Honor series. They always come out just before something big, and you play it for the couple days and realize it's not as good as what you really want to play, which just came out a couple days later, and you, all right, throw that money away.
The
I
single
feel a
player
little bit like they're doing it now just so you can get the invitation to the beta of the new Battlefield,
Yeah,
which counts
Yeah.
if you buy
Beta
this
4.
game.
and I hate that
Yeah.
shit.
I'm really annoyed at the fact that they're doing another Battlefield already.
I don't know,
No,
can you be
bugs
surprised? Like
me.
a Call of Duty, they got to follow the
Oh
same...
no, I'm not surprised. It's just the fact that it annoys me.
Freaking Call of Duty.
Yeah, because I expect that crap from Call of Duty, but I guess I really shouldn't expect anything different from EA.
Okay, talk about another one here. Extraterrestrial Armies. This is a game that's coming out of Iran.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a video. I don't. Sorry. Do I? Actually, I do. Crap. All right.
Crap.
Here it is. I gotta listen to the audio. What's the language? I kind of like the art style that I see here. I don't know anything about the gameplay, but the art style is kind of interesting. It's all sand, of course. It's Halo in Iran.
That's me trying to think of like Iranian-based jokes, but this is really like nothing.
I mean, it doesn't look bad.
No, it does actually look kind of cool.
But the way this guy's running it kind of makes me think of Interstellar Marines.
Is that the one where you die on your head?
No, that's
No.
that's the
That's the one
Unity
that's been in
3D
development for
one
like
that's-
40 years.
Yeah.
I know. I think I might check that game out.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't look bad.
There's
like
something
that they-
interesting in drawing.
It looks like the CryEngine.
You think?
Yeah,
not
because
sure.
well, the reason I think it is because of that way he's like aiming around corners, snapping onto
Yeah.
the corner,
Okay.
and which they had in Crisis. So
Oh, it very well could be that engine.
it does look like it.
Well, let's see what Google says.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just
I don't care for the slow-mo kills. That I find annoying.
it could be Unreal though as well. Actually, looking at it, I don't really know.
What's it called? Extraterrestrial armies?
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be a first-person shooter. Apparently, in the desert with some sort of gravity issue.
No, that's Unreal. I think.
See, I would agree until I see this background scene, where I'm confused. It does not look like an Unreal-built scene to me.
I suppose the sand is what's throwing me off.
The only thing I can find about it is the trailer.
Well, eventually we'll figure it out.
Gaming Studio Raspinas. Let's see if I find anything that way.
Could be its own engine, I guess.
I guess.
Interesting. So I Google extraterrestrial armies, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 7th link down is to our forums. Interesting.
Is our forms?
Yeah, it's because of the news
Huh.
grabber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
All right,
Unreal.
so we
I've
have
just
This
seen it on the
game's
video.
gonna have a Tribes/Call of Duty style multiplayer if it's got one. Just getting
If
that
you
sort of
do,
feel from it.
If you pause the video at 3:56, you can see the Unreal logo at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay.
Good call.
So it is Unreal.
Nice find. All right, so we've beaten the hell out of this episode enough. Any of these? We have a couple more topics on the list that we don't necessarily need to get to, but you know what? You guys see something in there you want to talk about?
I think we should skip down to the first two in the business section just because of the second one. Because a lot of people may have just clicked on it without realizing what they were clicking on.
You mean the Steam?
Oh, that, yeah.
Yes.
Steam top sellers? The last two.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about the top sellers, but the one after that is more what I was thinking.
Oh, I can tell you what those are without even looking at it. Alma 2. I'm going to say one of the Call of Duties and Battlefield. No, not Battlefield. Cause ooh.
Really? Here's
Well
the
done.
list. Arma 2, Borderlands 2, Left 4 Dead 2, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Orcs Must Die 2, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, which was because it was 50 or 75% off. Civ
well,
5.
Arma 2's up there because of that DayZ mod.
Yeah,
That's
Bioshock, Fallout New Vegas, and Batman Arkham City.
Yeah. You know, I don't have much faith in these Steam sales. You know, Steam top lists. It's starting to get into like that whole NPD or
Yeah, where
Yeah.
Barbie's Horse Adventure was.
yeah, right.
Barbie, no, like number 3, Barbie's. I don't think this list is legit. I don't know what it is, but I have the suspicion that there's something not quite right here.
Yeah. Anybody that logged into Steam sometime between last week and now had to agree to the new terms of service.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw that this morning when I installed it on this other PC. Yeah.
And what they did is they modified their terms of service, but their disclaimer now includes basically a clause that doesn't allow you to sue them for anything.
What
So
are they
if
planning
they-
to do to make me want to sue them?
Yeah, exactly.
Good question.
That was my worry, and I mean, I didn't read through the whole thing. I was like, what the am I having to agree to now? You know, that's one of the biggest lies on the internet. Yes, I've read the terms and use
Nobody
license
reads
agreement.
them, yeah. Nobody reads them.
Yeah. So
in a court
that's
of
what.
law, that can't hold up. anymore.
It's like they got you by the balls as well because you can't say no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can't use Steam.
these
They
have
just
already
can't
got your money.
prevent. Yes,
Hmm. Okay.
swines.
Customers can only bring individual claims. They cannot do class action suits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can't get everybody ganged up against Steam.
You can't do a boycott because we wouldn't want one of those again, would we?
No.
I seriously hate that word since that time. The word annoys me. I'm gonna boycott. Oh, shut up.
So what's this other one that leads right into this? Because EA is having issues with Zynga and they're suing.
Well, Zynga has, if you look at, I sent you the screenshot there. If you look at Zynga's game that they've released to play on Facebook and iApps and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much The Sims.
It is The Sims.
So there's a little bit of a copyright infringement thing that EA is
Wow.
looking into, and I don't disagree with them.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Okay, here's The Sims. And then here
That's like
is
the exact
Zynga.
same thing.
Yes, it is the exact same
Sims.
thing.
Just a
Zynga.
little bit blockier and with
Yeah.
bigger heads.
Sims.
Yes, the Sims and
And
the
Zynga,
Ville.
It's even like the same model, isn't it? Other than the character.
No, it's a ginger, so it's got no friends. But
Or a soul.
Wow.
or soul.
So,
So
is
that's-
there any word as to whether or not this is going to be held up? If the suit's going to go through? I guess it's just going.
Oh,
through,
it's
so we don't know
filed.
what the result is.
Yeah, it's
Good.
filed. So
Good. You know what? Because I'm tired of this shit that's going on with a lot of these companies. I mean, you head over to like the iOS or Android market, and how many games out there are direct ripoffs of other games, and they're just out there pushing it out. I mean, and I'm not talking about just those kind of games that are out there that literally steal the source code, recompile it, and put it on another device. I'm talking about ones that are exact. I find it really quite annoying and insulting.
The interesting thing is something that we ran across the other day is people don't actually understand copyright laws.
yeah,
And I'm not just saying that in a kind of like people, because it is kind of confusing. Like some things I have to look up
Yeah.
half the time. But
Yeah.
a lot of people think that it's okay to just, oh, it looks kind of similar, but you know, and it's like, no, you're just copying somebody's work.
are you referring to that coding?
I might be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
The thing with that though is just because you say it's copyright doesn't mean it's copyright. It's only copyright after you file it.
Exactly. Yeah. You can put a little your name and a little C on the end of it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and again, you can't copyright something that could be written by somebody else or anybody
No.
else.
It's
It's
difficult
like
with programming code.
copywriting. You know, the joke is Gene Simmons copyrighted the word internet. So every time somebody says the word
Yeah.
internet, he gets $5.
Yeah. It's difficult to even. It's like trying to copyright gameplay. It's like, well, you can't. Especially with coding, because it's like I can write the exact same thing as you, and that may be the only way to do it.
Right, but they're still trying, and they're
No,
suing
people
for it.
try. Yeah.
It's disgusting that they actually let such there's a whole copyright system is screwed.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's what I mean. It's
really
really
is.
confusing, and
Well-
people don't realize that they're actually breaking copyright laws.
Who came up with the gimmick to copyright the process of copywriting
Well.
last year?
Yeah, who was that? There was somebody that like you had to go through us to copyright something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. We talked about it because it was ridiculous. They had copyrighted the process of copywriting.
And it was like only them could file them, or file the patents
Only
or
them.
something like that. Only them.
There can be only one.
There could be only one.
Hmm.
All right, and that's all I've got to say about that.
And that's that. All right. Okay. Yeah. You know what?
There's some
we've
Call of
done
Duty
enough.
stuff, blah blah blah. There's some
Indie
Rambo
dev.
stuff, blah blah blah. Oh, there's an indie dev, indie dev of the month.
Oh yeah.
on-
Uh-huh.
Good point.
Indie dev of the month is Grinding Gear Games.
Path of
AKA
Exile.
Path of Exile.
Yeah. over on Mods Online. We finally changed it up because
interview of sorts.
yeah, we'll be doing hopefully we'll be getting some audio stuff on one of our episodes, or doing a special episode just strictly dedicated to that.
Yeah, just purely because they're in New Zealand and 5 a.m. the following morning isn't so convenient for them.
No, I can understand that.
But you know what? I don't. Hey, whatever, old man. How do these kids do this? Yeah. And gaming after this.
Yep.
Work
All right.
after this. Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, did you ever ask your friend if he was the collection dude that was
Oh
harassed
yeah, no, I
for the
forgot
wrong
about that. I'll ask him in a minute. Actually, yeah, I forgot about that. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
like wrong number? You know what? People don't pay their bills. I can understand them going to collection. But when you phone my house asking for somebody that I don't know, that doesn't live here, and I say, you know what, they don't live here, take me off your list, you've got the wrong number. Don't phone back 10 minutes later. And then an hour later, for the same fucking person, dude, I told you. Crap balls. It's probably Welsh.
Yeah, probably. He's into that kind of thing. I don't know what that means, but
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Let's wrap things up here. I want to thank our host for taking the time out to chat today. Welshy, thank you very much for joining us and posting the show notes as we went along.
no problem. It's still really hot.
It's still really hot. Stryder, thank you for joining us today.
It's always an adventure, my friends. Always an adventure.
Yeah, there's something going on. And Breezy, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problemo.
Awesome. Okay. So, and Endorphin, thanks for joining us today. Yeah, I'm just going to wrap things up here. I don't have the closing notes in front of me, so I'm just going to find this closer and say,
Thanks for watching this week, and come back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern when we will broadcast another live show on Livestream. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@modsonair.com, and please consider subscribing to MODSonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners.